Hey, everybody. Wow. It's Wednesday and we're live right here on the Trim Radio Network. And you can get us on trimradio.com. So, how's your week been? Has your week started off to a good start, or is it the same old, same old? Hmm? I don't know about you, but boy, this weather around here in Ohio is something else. We're supposed to have a little bit of freezing rain tonight. And I don't know what it's going to be like tomorrow. I mean, I've got places to go and people to see, and I've got to be able to do that. And I can't do that if there's plenty of ice on the roads. So that causes a problem. Well, anyhow, guys, welcome to my world. We've got a lot going on today, and I've got some funny stuff for you. But we have to do that disclaimer first. And nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, financial, or investment advice. Take what we say with a big grain of salt. And always do your own research and due diligence. And we're not responsible for and expressly disclaim all liability for damages of any kind arising out of use, reference to, or reliance on any information contained in this broadcast. And any persons or characters mentioned are, for the most part, fictional or as close to it as we can get. Well, that's the way it is. Sit back, relax, and chill out. Did you bring your snacks? How about your favorite drink? Hmm? Well, you want to go get those really quickly because we're going to get going here pretty soon. Hey, tell your friends about us and tell them to join us every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Whoa, a lot of stuff is going on. Have you watched the stuff lately? All the swearing in of the new people, Pam Bondi as far as the attorney general, and it's something else. And everybody is putting up a big stink for that. And sometimes you can find a little humor in it. Sometimes you can't. I have a feeling that Bondi is going to be right down to the brass knuckles and brass tacks, and this is the law, and you better go buy it. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. Well, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and that's just a little part of it. But anyhow, we've got a few things to do here, like talk about Trim Radio Network. Yep, trimradio.com. Hey, if you want to listen to some of our shows, go right ahead to it. You can also get to the archives and you can take part and actually do your own show. All you have to do is contact us. But first, we've got an adventure awaits around the bend. They're on Spotify. We have Ranch It Up with Tigger and Beck, YouTube and Spotify. We've got Life Walk with Christ God. That's Michael Bejas. That's my good buddy Michael. And he's on Rumble, YouTube, and Spotify. Of course, we've got Money and Change every Sunday at 7 p.m. So you want to check us out there. We talk a lot about things that are going on in the financial world and how to save money. And everybody needs to save money anymore because, boy, I'll tell you what, it gets expensive out there, especially if you go to a restaurant and they say, we're going to charge you an extra 50 cents if you get an egg. Oh, yeah, it's happening. Also, we've got Offsides College Football Top 25 with Michael Bejas. And of course, that's going to be on Rumble and YouTube and Spotify. And of course, we've got My World, Live, Laugh, and Whatever. And that's every Wednesday, and that's live. And we have the Positude podcast. And we have Rascala's Red Pill reality show. And I keep telling Rascala, I want the green pill. And he says, all I got is the red pill and the blue pill. He'll eventually find the green pill. It's out there. It's got to be. It's got to be next to maybe the yellow pill. But I want the green pill. Oh, well, I'm going to have to talk to Rascala about that. And then we've got Victoria Smith with the Natural Marketer podcast. So if you have a business and you want to do some marketing, she's the person to talk to. And she's also on Rumble and YouTube and Spotify. Natural Marketer podcast. Check her out. Okay, those are the shows that we've got. We're going to have some more come along pretty soon. You can get us on the live stream or the past episodes. And you can partner with us. All you have to do to host a show is click on that button. It says host the show. Oh my goodness, it's blank. Oh, there it is. Get your own show on the air for $25 a month with distribution and live streaming. All you have to do is click on this little white box up here. It says, hi, thanks for visiting the Trim Radio Network. How can I help you today? And you click on that and you get this little black box. Oh, there, I double hit the button. That's why. Um, you, you go ahead and you click on that and you put your name, your phone number, and in your message, go ahead and put your email address and what your message is. And if you have alternate phone numbers, put them in. Hit send. Somebody will get right back with you. And who knows? Maybe Victoria might be talking with you. Okay. So that can happen there. But if you want to support everything, you can either donate or you can shop the merchandise. Yeah, we do have merchandise. Michael Bayhouse likes to call it merch. Buy the merch. And well, what do we have for merchandise? We've got the cuttable rectangular photo keyring. Whoopee! And we've got the 90-second spot on the air advertising. We've got the Trim Radio on air unisex ultra cotton t-shirt. Plus the Trim Radio Network wall clock. We've got the Make the Right Vote in 2024. Well, we may have to have that changed to maybe do that in 2026 and 2028. How about the Red Pill Reality Show 11-ounce black mug? And we've got the Trim Radio Network mouse pad. Every mouse pad, actually every mouse needs a mouse pad, right? Red Pill Reality Show, the new blend hooded sweatshirt. And we've got the Trim Radio Network white mug. Boy, I wish we had a morphing mug for money and change in my world. But we've also got one, the Trim Radio Network. We cut the bull mug. Okay, it's a morphing mug. Ooh, a morphing mug. Something to think about. Yeah, buy the merch. The money that we get from selling the merchandise goes into paying for airtime for the show because airtime ain't cheap. It can be expensive. So, buy the merchandise. It helps us out. Okay. Well, what's next on the agenda? After the Trim Radio Network, we've got our Facebook page for my world. Yeah, that's what it looks like. And you can see it there. And we've got plenty of people in our group. It's a private group right now. Eventually we'll go totally public. But I do invite people to listen to the show. And I'll tell you what, I've got a lot of different people that like to listen to the show too. Especially Gary out in the middle of someplace, I think, on the verge of Miami County and Darke County, Ohio. Yeah. And we've got other people out in Darke County and other places. We've got a lot of people from different places. I've got listeners in Myanmar, which is Burma. I've got people in South Africa and, gee whiz, Europe, other parts of Africa, North and South America, and I believe Ernie is over still in Japan, in Naha, the big city of Naha. And, we're worldwide because we're on the web. And that's a good thing. You can check out the Trim Radio Network, but also go to our Facebook page, the Trim Radio Network, My World, Life, Live, and Whatever. Or live life? Life? Oh, my goodness, I'm tongue-tied. Life, laugh, and whatever. You can tell I'm tongue-tied today. So much stuff. Anyhow, if you take a look at our shout-outs, and I have to click on these. I made a couple of adjustments, and one of them didn't take. But anyhow, we have our shout-outs there. I'll have those posted every week. And hopefully I can get that one corrected for the University of Findlay, but we'll cover that one, which will be next. But we've got Rusty Duck's Custom Pens. We've got the Big Family Homestead with Brad and Krista. We've got Pecan Grove with Danny and Wanda King, the LDS Prepper, Dave Gilmore. We've got Southern Prepper 1 with Dave Kobler. We've got the Patriot Nurse, Rachel. And we've got Prepper Princess Amber Stork and Max Colby Mac. Well, actually, it's Max, the Max. And his first name is Colby, and it's got to be Max something. Okay. He doesn't tell his last name. I wish he would. Um, and if you're interested in where these people are located, Southern Prepper 1 is in South Carolina. He can spit over the ridge, I think, and be in North Carolina. Patriot Nurse is in Tennessee. Prepper Nurse is really a smart cookie. She's been a nurse in all different areas, and she talks a lot about keeping yourself healthy. We've got Prepper Princess with Amber Stork. She's out in California. And we've got Colby of the Max, and he is in eastern Mississippi. And Danny and Wanda King are in Mississippi. They're about 100 miles north of the Gulf in Wiggins, Mississippi. And then we've got the Big Family Homestead with Brad and Krista, and they are out in the middle of Wisconsin. I don't know how much snow they have there right now. When it starts getting into April, you're going to be into mud season. Yeah, the annual mud season in Wisconsin. That's something else. Well, hey, we've got to do a big shout out for the University of Findlay. And I had them up here. Daggone it, I erased them. Well, anyhow, I can do that from memory. They're number 13th in NCAA Division II basketball. They were number 3. It's amazing when you lose one game and you're suddenly down to 13. But anyhow, that's where they're at. Good basketball team, but it's not only a good sports school. Gee whiz, they have a really good university. You can get a bachelor's, a master's, and a doctoral degree there in various programs. And they have 3 campuses in Findlay, Ohio, the Hazardous Materials Campus, which is one of a few in the country. And then we also have the Equestrian Campus, which is also pre-veterinary and equestrian studies. And then we also have the main campus, which is where all of the bachelor's, master's, and doctoral programs are for the most part. And we have a new school. Actually, it's an old school, but it's a new school to the University of Findlay. The University of Bluffton is merging with the University of Findlay. And the University of Bluffton is 20 miles away in Bluffton, Ohio, right off of I-75. I go by it every time when I go up to the basketball games up in Findlay. And it's a beautiful little town. And they have a very good school there. Well, anyhow, they merged with the University of Findlay, and you can go to classes at the University of Findlay, and you can also go to the University of Bluffton. It's a good deal. It really is. Also, the University of Findlay also has the Weinbrenner Theological Seminary there, and it's right on campus. Beautiful auditorium, beautiful building, really, and it's a good school. I wouldn't be talking about it if I didn't believe in it. And Dr. Kathy Fell does a fantastic job as the president of the university, and they have very good professors, very good programs, good facilities. It's a nice small campus, about 4,000 students. And I'll tell you what, if you're into sports, they have good sports too. They really do. And right now it's basketball and wrestling. And let's see what else is going on. Oh, swimming. Yeah, they have a good swim team too. Check them out. The University of Findlay, www.findlay.edu. Okay, check them out. Wow, what else is going on? Oh, yeah, I post things from time to time. And that's part of the chemistry lab there at the University of Findlay. But I post a lot of different things. Oh, yeah, party time. That can be tonight. We have a little bit of partying time. And we talk about, are you in? Did you bring your beverage? You got your snacks? Okay. Hope you do. And here's Colby, and he's talking about flu and everything else. He's talked about a whole bunch of different things. Here's Rachel from the Patriot Nurse. Fantastic person. I love to take one of her classes. But to take the whole series, she's got, I think, 3 or 4 different classes, and you have to start out in 101 to be able to go on up the ladder. And she's very knowledgeable, trust me. And oh, here we are partying again. The ultimate survival food. Learn how to make your survival buckets and stuff. And in case things get a little testy, you want to have at least a couple weeks of food on hand. Some water and ways to purify water. But right now, and I tell everybody on Money and Change, pay down your debt. Good thing is to get out of debt as much as you can. Put some money aside. Set up a budget and put some money aside. Buy some long-term food, canned goods, freeze dried. You could even buy MREs, but those are expensive. And sometimes their taste isn't all that good. That's not bad, though. I think they last for about 5 years. And you want to be able to purify and store water. Make sure that you have the clothing for the season. It's cold outside. You want to have suitable clothing for that. You want to actually have batteries. You want to have flashlights in case things go down. And I always talk about the GMRS radios. I always talk about these things. And David Gilmore has some very good videos. You have to check him out, the LDS Prepper, and he talks about these radios. And from time to time, I put them up on the website. So they're a good thing to have. But be prepared. You never know. We might end up with a toilet paper shortage. And I don't think you want to use poison ivy, do you? Well, anyhow, we've got that. One thing I wanted to talk about, and it's something I was talking about it a couple weeks ago. Remember I talked about the Elide fire extinguishers? Okay, this is a different one. This is OSIM. And it's an auto fire off. It's got a little hook on the top. It comes with a little cradle that you put it in, and you can hang this up in your house. And the directions are on there. They're good for 5 years. And you can get them in, I got mine in packs of 2. And I have basically 2 in the garage. This is one of them. I have 2 in the house. And I have 2 in the shed. And I'll tell you what, all you have to do, and I have a video on this, but all you have to do is put this there. And then when there's a flame or, it really gets nasty, this thing sets off and goes kaboom and puts powder over the fire and smothers the fire. These things are neat. You can keep them in your car too. Okay. Good thing to have. Well, let's take a look at that video on Elide. And here we go.
Fire can occur at any moment, whether due to accident, negligence, or even natural disaster. What you just saw is how the live fire extinguishing ball works. Our greatest innovation work. Put out fire in a few seconds. In a more difficult spot to reach, simply throw, toss, or roll the ball into the flame, and it will put out and clear the way for the firefighters easily. If you know fire cannot extinguish in a minute or two, it can turn into a terrible inferno, destroying everything in its way. Sounds terrible, doesn't it? Do not be afraid. A live fire extinguishing ball is stop the fire. Just touch the flame. The ball will activate within a few seconds. The chemical inside will extinguish the fire immediately. A live fire extinguishing ball can be used to be an automatic surveillance firefighter. Just install them in risky places, such as the plant main distribution board, electrical enclosure, water pipe. Fire can be stopped within a few seconds. The live fire extinguishing ball is guaranteed not to activate on its own unless it hasn't touched the flame or the ground. Because we use our own formula, better than any traditional have sanctimony eyes and hands. We also have 5 years long warranty.
Yeah, that's the E-line fire. And guess what? I got mine on, gee, where did I get? Oh, yeah, Amazon. All I did was type in fire extinguishers or Elide, E-L-I-D-E, and that comes right up. And I want to tell you something. That is something to see. I think I got mine in a total of about 3 days, I believe. And after seeing the video a couple of times, hey, these things work. I don't know what they have to put out the flames, but it looks pretty good. And so if you have something that's flaming up, these balls come in handy. It's like the old, what was it, the hillbilly song, Balls of Fire? Well, these will put out the fire. And you've seen the video. So, I don't make any money on this stuff. I don't want to make any money on this stuff. But go to Amazon and check it out because Elite has these balls. And I'll tell you what, I think it's a good investment. And it might help you out on your insurance too. Hmm. Okay, what do we got next? Oh, yeah, I'll tell you what. All this stuff going on this week in my local town, now they're talking about having chickens in town. And they brought it up, I believe, at the planning commission meeting. I think that was last night. And everybody was really worked up over it. And, oh, we don't need chickens in town. Or what about roosters and so forth? Now, I didn't have a chance to tell people, hey, when I was down visiting in Florida, I always used to go to Florida for vacation. And the wrestler Hulk Hogan had a mansion over in Bel Air. And I would drive over there sometimes just to see how the other side lives. And you'd see these Rolls Royces and Bentleys and Maseratis and all kinds of good stuff. And these big fancy mansions. Well, I drove by his place. I knew where it was at, and it's walled off. They have an entrance gate, and that's it. Well, in the Tampa Tribune, one day they had an article that Hulk Hogan's rooster was causing a problem in Bel Air. It liked to crow at about 5 o'clock in the morning and wake up the neighbors, and the neighbors were really ticked about that rooster. Normally, the rooster would stay in the courtyard, but he jumped up on the wall and he was just crowing like crazy. And so it was driving people nuts. So locally, I mean, if they decide to vote on having chickens, keep them not free range, but in cages, and don't get any roosters to wake them up at 5 or 6 in the morning. I don't think I could take that. Oh, so much stuff going on. And the one thing that I saw was this thing on Doge, DOGE, which was the Department of Governmental Efficiency. Elon Musk and President Trump uh, established Doge for one purpose, is to find out where money was being spent inefficiently. And they were looking at all different types of places uh, where money was being wasted. And that was the job of Doge. And he chose Elon Musk and one other, Vivek Ramaswamy from Cincinnati. And he developed a business, a very successful business, made a lot of money. He knows how to do that. Well, anyhow, they were in charge of Doge, and what they were supposed to do was do some audits. And so they started off with about 20, and today it was revealed they have over 100 people working for Doge, and they go in and use some type of a computer program that they can go into the Department of Education or the USAID and hook into their computers, download all the information, and send it back to the people that are going to go through the audits and take a look at the books. Well, anyhow, they were spending a lot of money and not really tracking things, not Doge, but the different departments. And they're looking at waste, and they're also looking at corruption. And you find that, you might have $84 million going overseas for a project. And then when they look at it and they check the project, well, the project only got maybe $80 million and $4 million just didn't make it. Well, gee, where did it go? Missing money. And that was found to be in a lot of different places. And today, President Trump was talking about, he went through a list of 200 different things, and he found a couple things that were legitimate and a bunch of things that weren't. Well, anyhow, on Thursday, he is supposed to come out in a press release and go over some of the findings and to see how much money that Doge can save. It's going to be interesting. It really will be, because they're going to find out where the money went, who got the money, and whether or not they got everything that they were supposed to get. And then they're going to look at some of the crazy programs. Businesses do audits all the time, and it's a good thing that they do audits to find out that the money was being used correctly, and it's efficient. It really is. And so I don't have any problems with the audits. And if there's any corruption, then it comes out in the paperwork, and you go ahead and investigate the corruption from there and solve the problem and make sure it doesn't happen again. Well, anyhow, I was going through some stuff today, and I thought, okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about Doge, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. But I found some funny stuff on it. And I thought, well, hey, let's just see what the funny stuff is right now. One thing that I was looking at was right here. And this is the Doge theme song. Now I'm going to play this thing, and you listen to this guy and see what you think. I thought it was hilarious.
Who can take your money with a twinkle in their eye? Take it all away and give it to some other guy. The government. The government. And who can tax the sunlight? Who can tax the trees? Well, let's run a business and collect up all the fees. The government. The government. And the government does they mix it up with lies and make it all taste good. The government takes everything we make to pay for all their solutions, like healthcare, climate change, pollution. Just throw away the Constitution. I wrote that, thank you. Who can give a bailout? Tell us to behave and make the founding fathers roll over in the grave. I don't care if you hate me, I'm going to sing it anyway. Oh, the government can. And the government can, y'all, and mix it up without them make it all yummy, 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 yummy. The government takes everything. They're all power hungry and malicious. Their economics are fictitious. Soon we'll have to eat our fish. And who can be a failure in so many ways? And instead of getting fired, hey, we'll give ourselves a raise. California, you know what I'm talking about. Feels so good. Good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll tell you, I saw that and I started laughing. I thought, gee whiz, I'm going to have to play that. I really am. It's amazing what you can find on X, better known as Twitter, but it's out there. Oh, wow. I keep looking at different things and I'll go into things in money and change later. I don't really want to get into it too much, but just to give you an idea here, if I can find it. Oh, there it is. Son of a gun. Right here, the U.S. budget deficit hits a record $840 billion in the first 4 months of 2025, and the interest on debt hits a record $1.2 trillion. So where's the money going? Why are we overspending? And why do these curves keep going up? And the receipts and outlays and surplus deficit for January 2025, there's a chart for everything. There are a lot of charts, and it's scary. Okay, the amount of money that is wasted is crazy, and we'll find out about it probably tomorrow on the presser that President Trump is going to have. Okay, also on Doge, here's something that I found today. If I can get it to work.
23 days. You were talking about 2.3 billion that was saved last year. These guys are saving 2.3 billion a day.
Right, but
That's incredible.
That's what they're saying.
But where's the
again,
proof? You're waiting. You're not going to be satisfied till it shows up with 10,000 pages. I don't know anything about one page. Yes,
He's giving very specific things,
yes, he's giving,
but he's not actually giving any evidence of that.
it's all going to come, because what they also said was, if we have to go to Congress, we'll go to Congress.
Right, but
we'll show where
some of the details that have come out, like the $59 million spent on luxury hotels, it's actually not the
talking about the FEMA money that was abused for migrants. That was FEMA money for migrants. That's okay now.
No, I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's okay. Don't put words in my mouth.
So would you stop that? Would you stop that process?
Don't be the portray. What I'm saying is the portrayal by him is just not factually accurate. He's talking about luxury hotels. You can. I'm not as big. Look, I was in Hurricane Katrina. I saw what FEMA does. I
think the issue too is these are.
Oh yeah. Well, when you take a look at USAID, facts or fiction? Well, I got this at another news source.
Across the globe. These are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either.
NewsNation fact-checked these claims by the White House, and while it is true USAID money went towards a grant in Serbia to advance, quote, diversity, equity, and inclusion, the other funding outlined by the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, including DEI initiatives in Ireland, Colombia, and Peru, totaling about $150,000, was actually awarded by the State Department, not USAID.
And the State Department is now, I guess they have USAID in the State Department. But the money always moves around, doesn't it? Well, anyhow, we'll learn more about it tomorrow. Let's see what else is. Oh, yeah, there was some satire. And the United Spot on X does satire, and they have these faces of the different people. And I want to tell you something. I don't know how they do it. How do they make the mouths move and the eyes move and the facial expressions of these people, I have no idea. But this is one. There's a whole bunch. Some of which they might have a word or two that I can't play. Okay, because Michael Bayhouse would let me have it. But anyhow, here's one of them. Let's see what they have to say.
Oh, this Alexandria is an outright criminal of the worst kind, masquerading as a judge. Who is it? It's the cable guy. Better put on your bathing suit. You're going to be channel surfing in no time. There's nothing wrong with my cable. You don't say, Ken. Pizza, pizza. You order a pizza? Can you sign for this suit? I'm not expecting a package. Do you smell gas? No, your taxi is here. Are you talking to me? I don't see anybody else around here, so you must be talking to me. I didn't go for a taxi. Smells good. What's for dinner? I don't want to do that. Surprise! But I'm already a millionaire. Do you have a few moments to talk about our Lord and Savior? Not with you two. Yeah, what? How can I help you? Hello, police? Yes? Yeah, there's two crazy people outside trying to take me. Send help right away. All right, we'll send somebody over right now. FBI, we have a search warrant.
The United Spot. Check them out. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. That is something else. Some of that I laugh at. I really do on the United Spot. I don't know how they do that work, though. Well, anyhow, guys, there's another one that I found on Fortune magazine. It was on Yahoo. Bosses are fed up with remote work for 4 main reasons. Some of them are undeniable. This was done, Fortune editor Jane Thayer, or Thayer. Thayer. Potato. Anyhow, as I was going through these things, number 1, remote work is bad for new hires and junior employees. And they're saying this one is not nearly as controversial as it sounds, especially when you're new on the job. Being physically present can be an enormous leg up. Even the supposedly anti-office Gen Z workers acknowledge the overwhelming truth of this. Yeah, you have to work with somebody hands-on, unless you're an accountant or maybe a doctor, maybe an attorney. Otherwise, you need to work with people. And I know when I would take a new job and they would pair me up with somebody and I would get to work with them for about a week. And then I would undergo further training. And then by the end of the month, I was supposed to know everything about my job, which for the most part, I knew the first week I was there. But anyhow, I went through all the training. Number 2, workers admit that remote work sometimes causes more problems than in-person work. And when expected incorrectly, hybrid work plans can create discordant, unproductive teamwork. That's especially true, according to the article, when teams don't make an effort to align their in-office days. So you might come in on Monday, the next person on the team comes in on Tuesday or Wednesday, and somebody else on that team maybe comes in just on Fridays, and you're not there for team meetings. So the schedules have to be together, okay, for all of that. I mean, that's common sense. Number 3, remote workers put in 3.5 hours less per day of work compared to in-person workers. You know, when you're in the office and you have your office set up and you have your routine, and in my case, I would go in at 7 o'clock in the morning and I would get everything laid out as far as what my itinerary was going to be according to the plan that I had for the whole week. And I would make sure that I was on schedule for everything. And I would check with my secretary across the hall to see if she had anything. I'd check with my boss 2 doors down. And then I would go back and start working on everything that I had to do, whether or not it was reviewing spreadsheets of all of my facilities or checking on health reports, in other words, health inspection reports, other kinds of things like that. I'd be calling suppliers, I'd be talking to the managers of the different facilities, whether on the phone or I would be out in the field, and I would have to go up to the University of Cincinnati, basically walk the campus and check to see if all of the equipment or all of the food service facilities were in good shape and following the rules and regs. Okay, I'd have to do that. And if I was home, then I'd have to travel farther to get to the University of Cincinnati or any of the other facilities that I had. I had 27 total. And that was just in my first 8 years working with the state. So you have a lot of travel time. And the best thing to do is be in the office, work your plan, and then if you have to go out in the field, then you go out in the field. But they're saying that remote workers put in about 3.5 hours less per day. They're not supervised that much. Okay. And then there's a chart that they had for it. And the fourth thing is productivity plummets on days when everyone is working remotely. A little tongue in cheek there. March 2023, Drum wrote a post highlighting what the CEO of an HR tech firm told the Wall Street Journal. On days his team is working remotely, new subscriber counts plummeted 30%. But that's just one anecdote. Even Drum himself says that the stat is amazing. Yeah, that can happen because, people end up playing around a little bit. Maybe they're on the phone too much. Yeah, it can happen. That was an interesting thing about remote things. Hey, McDonald's. How many of you go to McDonald's? You like McRibs, McChicken, McBurgers, whatever. Well, here's something about McDonald's.
On Yahoo Finance, McDonald's missing the mark at the end of 2024 with lackluster sales and an E. coli outbreak. But we did hear more commentary around the fast food chain's turnaround plans for 2025. Here with more, we've got Yahoo Finance senior reporter Brooke Palma. You've been all over the Golden Arches this morning, Brooke. What do we know?
All over. Well, international sales did do better than expected. That has Wall Street excited this morning, but that U.S. business continues to struggle as same-store sales fell more than expected, and that was driven by a less size check, a lower size check, and offset by higher foot traffic during the fourth quarter. Now, important to note here that many analysts are hoping that the fourth quarter was the bottom as it tackles this value perception and what it calls a muted market here in the U.S. with a low-income consumer still struggling. Here's what CEO Chris Kempczinski told investors on the call this morning.
That low-income consumer in the U.S. In Q4 was still down double digits. And as you know, that low-income consumer is overweighted in the industry relative to the U.S. in total. If you think about middle and higher income, a very robust consumer in those things, in those areas. So, I think that's the landscape that we're looking to navigate through. It's why it's so important that we make sure that we have a strong value program, which is the focus in Q1 and getting McValue launched.
And there are 4 levers that the U.S. market is really focusing in here to get consumers back in the door and willing to pay up. And those include this McValue platform, that $5 meal deal, that buy one, get one for $1, as well as innovation. You're going to see chicken strips come out sometime this year, as well as the return of those coveted snack wraps. Digital, they said that their loyalty customers continue to spend more than non-digital, and so they'll invest in that business and development. McDonald's continues to double down on that goal to reach 50,000 restaurants by the end of 2027. Now, just 2 years away.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't go to McDonald's that much. Maybe a few times a year. And there's a reason for it. The French fries, I love the French fries. That's probably the highlight of the whole thing. I don't like the chicken. The hamburgers, you know, hamburger's kind of a hamburger, even if it's a Big Mac or whatever. I'm not really thrilled with that. But if I go into the stores and I see that the place hasn't been kept clean and the person behind the counter is not friendly and the food is crammed into a bag, or if I'm in the drive-through and I have to go and I have to wait to get my food, that's a problem. And then if they forget things in the bag, that creates a problem because I drive all the way home. I open the bag and I'm short some items. Am I going to drive back? Am I going to call them up? Sometimes I do. A lot of things to take a look at in fast food. And the price is up there too. So you can get probably a Big Mac, medium fries, or large fries. The next thing you know, you've got probably $10 right there without a drink. I seldom buy a drink at McDonald's. For some reason, I don't like the taste of the Coke. There's just something about it. I mean, if you have to have something there, okay, fine. But other than that, you know, I'm not keen on McDonald's. A long time ago, they used to have some really good product, and the place was always clean, and people were always friendly. And the ones I've gone to lately, not really. Okay. Okay, so much for that. We have a little bit of political humor. I thought I would throw that in since we talked a little bit about Doge. Okay. You have to talk about that from time to time. But Ronald Reagan always had a good sense of humor. No matter where he did things, he always had a good sense of humor. And I don't think he hired any political writers that I know of. Okay. So here's Reagan. You'll have to listen to him.
It happens to be a story of an older preacher who was talking to a young preacher who hadn't had as much experience. And he said to him, you know, sometimes on Sunday morning they begin to nod off. And he says, I found a way to wake them up. He says, right in my sermon, when I see them beginning to doze, I say, last night I held in my arms a woman who was the wife of another man. And he said, that wakes them up. And he says, then when they look at me startled, I say, it was my dear mother. Well, the young preacher took that to heart, and a few weeks later, sure enough, there some of them were dozing off. So he remembered what had been told him, and he said, last night I held in my arms a woman who was the wife of another man. And they all looked at him, and everyone was awake. He says, I can't remember who it was. The Soviet peoples themselves, even though there's been some change, still tell stories and joke about their plight. I heard one about a fellow who went to the KGB to report that he lost his parrot. And KGB asked him why he was bothering them. Why didn't he just report it to the local police? But he answered, I just want you to know that I don't agree with a thing my parrot so badly shaken that the officer took pity on him and said, well, now, wait a minute, calm down. It's not that serious an infraction. The fellow said, it may not mean much to you, but to me, it means I've lost my trailer, a wife, and 4 kids. You know, there's a 10-year delay in the Soviet Union of delivery of an automobile. And only 1 out of 7 families in the Soviet Union own automobiles. Laid down his money, and then the fellow that was in charge said to him, okay, come back in 10 years and get your car. And he said, morning or afternoon.
That's a good joke. Oh my goodness.
And
that's disgusting.
And the fellow behind the counter said, well, 10 years from now, what difference does it make? And he said, well, the plumber's coming in the morning. It's an honor and a pleasure for me to be here with you, sharing the spirit and the festivities of St. Patrick's Day. The blessed St. Patrick, we're told, died on this day in the year of our Lord, 461. And leave it to the Irish to be carrying on a wake for 1,500 years.
Yeah, you got it, Ronald Reagan. He did have a sense of humor, and he's got some more, too. I found some more things. So let's take a look at what else he said. If I can hit the magic button. Sometimes I hit the wrong button around here, and I just miss things. Let's see what this is.
What a crowd, huh? Now, I tell you, I'm all right now, but last week I was in rough shape, you know? Yeah, last week my wife signed me up for a bridge club. I jump off next Tuesday. I mean, last week nothing went right. I bought a waterbed. There were 2 Cuban guys swimming in it looking for Florida. Last week I went to the track, too. That was a beauty. I shot off the opening gun. They killed my horse. I'll tell you nothing but myself. My car down again. I got a car, I got nothing but trouble. Every Sunday I take my family out for a push. The last time my wife drove the car, she cracked it up, went into a tree. Told me it wasn't her fault. She blew the horn. Life isn't too smart, you know. One night she went out, some guy stole the car. I said to her, do you see what he looked like? She told me she got the license plate number. She's not smart at all. I told her our kid is spoiled. She told me a lot of kids smell that way, you know? I'll tell you, it's tough to stay married to my wife. What do you think I feel? She kisses a dog on her lips and she won't drink from my glass. I mean, there's always my wife's father. He just moved in too. Has electronic pacemaker. Every time he sneezes, the garage door opens. I'll tell you, life isn't easy. My psychiatrist told me I'm going crazy. I said, if you don't mind, like a second opinion. He said, all right, you're ugly too. You kidding? I know I'm ugly. Halloween, I open the front door. Kids give me candy. My dog found out we look alike. He killed himself. I was an ugly kid too. I worked in a pet store. People kept asking how big I get. And I was ugly in my sandbox. The cat kept covering me up all the time, you know? And you know what a childhood I had. My mother never breastfed me. She told me she liked me as a friend. Kids today is different. They got it too good. They haven't appreciated it either. Last Christmas, my kid wanted a BB gun. I gave him a BB gun. He gave me a sweatshirt with a bullseye in the back. The other day, I told him about the birds and the bees. He told me about my wife and a butcher. I tell you, my whole life is pressure, nothing but pressure. This pressure is like a heaviness, always on top of me, this heaviness since I'm a kid. Other people wake up in the morning, new day, up and at 'em. I wake up, the heaviness is right there waiting for me. And sometimes I even talk to it, and I say, hi, heaviness. Heaviness looks back at me today, you're going to get it good. Somebody's drinking early today. And I don't want to drink up a bad drink. When I drink the next day, I got to do 2 things. I try and locate my car. I got to bring back the car I took. I'm not there. You know the trouble with me? I appeal to everyone who can do me absolutely no good. would mean nothing this easy. I met the Surgeon General. He offered me a cigarette. Hey, that's the story of my life. No respect. I got no respect at all. Are you kidding? You just said when I was in a bar, they told me to get out. They wanted to start the happy hour. It's not easy being me. Well, last week my house was on fire. My wife told the kids, be quiet. You wake up daddy. No, but I tell you, I finally got some respect. They asked me here tonight, And I tell you, I'm surprised I'm here. I mean, I voted for Randolph Scott.
Yeah, that was Rodney Dangerfield. Sometimes, I can find some doozies out there. And Rodney Dangerfield was always a good one. And Ronald Reagan was always a good one. And anymore with all the stuff that's going on with all the politicians and the one side saying one thing and the other side saying the other and all the, well, we're going to go on protest this and protest. We got to have a sense of humor, people. That's what we have to do, is have a big sense of humor. And if we don't, we're in trouble. So this next week, or the remainder of this week, just take everything in stride. Listen to all the facts that come out. Listen to both sides of the story. Don't raise any chickens in your backyard if you live in town. You never know, you might end up with a rooster. 6 o'clock comes awful early in the morning. Well, anyhow, guys, that's all I've got this week. I'll see you on Sunday live with Money and Change right here on the Trim Radio Network. And with that, have a good week.
In a world drowning in noise, where truth is often buried beneath layers of propaganda and misinformation, there's a need for a different kind of a network of creators that cuts through the clutter, that doesn't shy away from tough topics, and that delivers the unfiltered truth. We are Trim Radio Network. We are creators, we are innovators, we are investigators. We're the ones who aren't afraid to call a spade a spade. If you're ready to participate in thought-provoking discussions, informational topics, and of course today's biggest headlines, subscribe to our YouTube channel today. We're Trim Radio Network. We're cutting the bull and serving the truth.